Dapat kasi sir, may ano dyan, no?
Yan na.
Welcome to the PNP Scene of Crime Operation Demo, to be conducted by National Headquarters Scene of Crime Operation Team. Let the processing begin. The scenario is a case of alleged shooting incident. A telephone call was received by the National Headquarters Scene of Crime Operation Team, and a Soco team was dispatched on the crime scene. Upon arrival at the crime scene, the Scene of Crime Operation Team leader will coordinate with the investigator in case, Police Chief Inspector Cariaga, and the coordination slip is signed by the investigator, signifying the turnover of the crime scene to the Scene of Crime Operation Team. Simultaneously, the medical legal officer will enter the crime scene to determine if the victim is still alive or lifeless. In case that the victim is still alive, he is immediately rushed to the hospital for treatment. The police line is installed to protect the crime scene. At this instance, all persons noted inside the crime scene are listed for record purpose. The Soco team leader will cautiously enter the crime scene and make the preliminary crime scene survey. He makes a cautious walkthrough of the crime scene and makes a note of the condition of the crime scene based on the systematic observation and scene assessment, including the identification of physical evidences to be encountered. He also takes into consideration the safety of Soco team members. Included in his preliminary survey is the assessment of every pieces of evidence by noting them using the spiral method of search in his initial assessment. The team leader establishes the command post, and the Soco team members are briefed of the alleged case and the evidences noted during his preliminary survey. Simultaneously, the photographer also takes the general overview, medium and close-up shots of the crime scene. He was being briefed by the team leader of evidences present in the crime scene. Dito lang. The photographer is taking the overlapping photograph of the crime scene. Also, he is taking close-up shots of the physical evidence present. After photography, the scene of crime operation team searchers will proceed with the crime scene search. At this point, the scene of crime operation team searchers are utilizing the spiral search method. The same method used by the team leader during his preliminary survey.
Paglalagay ng mga markings, specific mo yun, ha?
Yes, sir.
Importante yan, eh.
In the spiral search method, the searchers follow each other along the path of the spiral, beginning on the inside and spiraling outside the crime scene.
Isang firearms examiner para pag-prepare
Yun ang composition.
yung sa BD niyo pagka may mga biological evidence sa
Babalitan siya. Ito sa firearm, ito sa... Ano isa?
sa DNA sa DNA
Sa DNA, sa plasma.
para pagka sila
Other search methods that can be utilized during the crime scene search are the quadrant or zone search, the strip or line search, grid or double search, and the wheel search method. Based on the evidence to be gathered, the Soco team searchers are composed of the firearms examiner, biological specialist, and the fingerprint examiner. These searchers will take note and label the evidence seen at the crime scene.
Spiral, gano'n. Malaki. Malaki ang filter.
sa quadrant pa ilagay sa
Ang pinagin yan.
After the search of evidence, the photographer will re-enter the crime scene to photograph the marked or labeled evidence with scale. The photographer has just taken the overview of the marked or labeled evidence.
Method of search. Spiral search.
Secure mo na yung area. First responders, mag-coordinate yung team leader doon sa ground commander na nag-investigate ng na first responder.
First sir, coordinate yung sir. Habang nag-coordinate yung sir, yung team leader sa yung investigator in case.
In this case, the victim is marked letter A. And all evidences seen
Legal officer.
are marked with numbers.
Kung buhay pa o patay na sir.
Patay na.
Yung team leader sir.
Patay na, yun na. Yung committee na.
CCS na gano'n sir. Sa gano'n pag-arapyan.
What he is taking is the close-up shot of evidences.
Yung ba sir, ang Alberto sir. Nadal na yung Alberto, yung nasa video ko sir.
Isang buo na kukunan mo.
Yes sir.
Pieces na.
Google natin sir. Saka push up sir. Ito lang po sir. Ito lang po sir.
After photography, crime scene sketchers will enter crime scene, prepare the sketch, the purpose of which is to further document the crime scene in terms of A, sufficient measurements and details to be used as model for drawn to scale diagram using the compass in reference to the north polarity. B, diagram which establishes permanent records of items, conditions, and distance to size relationship.
So meron yung steps yan.
Yes sir.
The sketchers are using the triangulation method of sketch.
Yan
Yan
sir.
na talaga ang part.
Yes sir. Para sa isang part ito, pa-rinap mo ito. Madaling i-position yung ebidensya, madaling i-position yung ebidensya. Because, fixed points na lang palagi naman.
The diagram of the area of crime scene is always oriented to the north.
Ayun, no, sir. Yung unang scene, pwede sa iwan stop o dito na after. Dito mas madali, mas madali.
Kayo rin po. Kaya lang para ma-review nila from time to time.
Kailangan ko yun ha, mamaya. Pwede mo padala mamaya? Manual? Or makapag-print? Importante sa akin yung steps kasi pag binigyan mo na lahat, ba't na maalala yun? Yun yung pag binigyan mo yung steps.
Properly, alam ninyo kung ano yun, like the triangulation. Ngayon ko lang narintindihan yun, ano yung triangulation na, akala ko sa firing range lang yan eh. So mayroon din dito. Tapos yung orientation sa north, ngayon ko lang din naintindihan, dapat ang i-orient mo sa north. So ano yun, magdadala ka pa ng compass? O yung mga ganon. So ito mga maliliit na bagay, pero ito ay laman for our experience in the field.
After the sketch, the evidence collectors will enter the crime scene to collect evidences.
Again, tingnan ninyo maigi, ang daming steps, no? Pero alam mo, magkakaiba yan. From the start, magkakaiba hanggang ngayon. Ine-explain ng ating narrator, but ang hirap intindihin yan pag hindi mo nakita ng actual.
this point, they are placing plastic wrappers at the hand of the victim to protect and preserve the hands for paraffin examination because the case is an alleged shooting incident. The firearm examiner considers the safety of the firearm prior to collection. The fingerprint specialist will now dust the firearms for latent prints.
Alam nila ang flex mo yan. Ginagawa nila.
They are filling up the form for listed latent print.
Tingnan mo yung Kasi depende sa...
Double strip sa set. So, para
Parallel. Vertical at saka... Tapos yung hawak na.
Firearms examiner has collected the firearms-related evidence. After taking into consideration the safety of the firearm prior to collection, the firearm examiner has collected the firearm evidence for further examination and safekeeping. We can see the biological specialist collecting specimen at the mouth of the drinking bottle. In collecting drinking bottles, the biological specialist must first swab the mouth of the bottle prior to collection by the fingerprint specialist to prioritize evidence in consideration to denaturation or degradation of evidence. The fingerprint examiner collected the bottle, taking into consideration to hold the bottle only at the mouth of the bottle to preserve any latent print present in the drinking bottle. Then, it is packed, collected, and marked properly.
Gentlemen, ladies, please observe. Yung markings hindi ginagawa sa labas ng crime scene. Ang markings ginagawa sa loob pa rin, doon sa area. Kasi pag nabutasan kayo ng defense or ng prosecution, whatever, at sa labas ninyo nagkaroon ng markings niyan, in favor always. Alam na ninyo yun kung kanino in favor. So sa search, napag-aralan natin, may line search, may double, may ano yun, yung quadrant type, at saka yung double strip search.
Always kept inside the crime scene is a Soco log form, being maintained during the collection for recording the time and date of collection and the state or condition of evidence collected.
Take note, bago niya alis yung mga bagay-bagay, kinukunan ulit ng photograph. ninyo, tatlo yung kasama ka lagi kanina doon sa nag-investigate, no? Yung isa yung in charge ng paraffin kung sa barel, yung isa in charge ng DNA sa dugo, at saka isa yung in charge ng fingerprint. Now take note, lahat ng mga ebidensya bago ialis, kung sino doon sa tatlong yon ang expert, yun ang nag-aalis doon sa area. Another thing, pag bomb explosion, meron forensic chemical chemist din nakasama. So pang-apat yun na nagsisearch. Na pang-apat. Ako ngayon ko lang din nalaman yun, pero naririnig ko, so na-establish natin na hindi tayo zero sa kaalaman ng crime scene investigation.
All evidence collected, packed, and marked properly will be turned over to the evidence custodian and will be recorded to the evidence recovery log. Simultaneously, the medical legal officer, together with the evidence recorders, will enter the crime scene. The medical legal officer conducts an assessment on the state of the cadaver, and he makes a body search to find any identification card for possible identification of the victim.
So, gentlemen, ladies, inspectors, pansinin ninyo, ang nag-inspect ng body ng katawan ng tao mismo, ng victim, ay ang medical legal officer. Hindi pinapakialaman ng apat o ng tatlo kanina. Ayan, sila na nagbuburles ng tao. Oh, inspection of gunshot wounds na ito ang ginagawa.
Simultaneously, the photographer is taking shots of the gunshot wounds or any injuries present at the victim's body. Valuables or any properties such as monies, jewelries found will be turned over to the investigator on case.
Tawagin mo si ano siya. Ayun, iwalan ba yan?
Again, lahat na makikitang ebidensya dyan, pati pera, ibibigay dun sa investigator on case, kay Major Carriaga.
Kaya lang.
Sa iyo bibigay. Any question? Any question, Carriaga? Hindi ka nakikinig. Ayun, daming pera. Pera ng Hapon. Sa Japanese money.
The biological specialist is now collecting evidence from the victim's body. Such evidences that will be collected be turned over to the evidence custodian, observing the proper chain of custody of all evidences.
Pero wala ba yung paniraya?
Okay, ang mag-aalis ng cadaver, i-assume na natin na kinuha na ng funeral parlor.
For final crime scene survey to locate any missed or overlooked evidence during collection.
Wala sir. Pero dito sa Manila, zero sir.
Sir, sinabi lang, parang may nakalakapan sa another final.
To our philosophical inspectors, tama ba mo? Dito sa Metro Manila, meron lang tayong tinatawag na accredited funeral parlors. Pero sa mga probinsya, I think wala eh. So, just for your food of thought for your mind, Mon. So your mind will again be fertile enough to... This is the final. Halimbawa, baka may nakalimutan, ito yung final search.
Line yan, line. Line yan, di ba? Oo.
Labels na ano may double signature.
The team is using the strip or line search in the final crime scene survey. Upon the signal of the team leader, the search proceeded. Upon recognition of possible overlooked evidence, the search comes to a halt and the team leader will assess the evidence as may be deemed acceptable or vital in relation to the crime. The evidence is marked or labeled and the search will continue. Search now continues. At this point, the team proceeds to the parallel side of the crime scene. Now, the search becomes the double strip search.
Ito yung double strip search. Bakit double strip? Kanina papunta rito, ngayon galing doon pabalik. So pa-cross. Kaya tinatawag na double strip search yan. Yan yung pinaka-final na search na gagawin.
Sketchers are called upon to make the sketch. Note that the chalk of the victim's body is now the marker, because the body has now been lifted.
Pagdating ng
Firearms examiner now collect the evidence.
Bigyan tayo ng medal.
Tag the evidence and mark properly. Said evidence will now be turned over again to the evidence custodian. The team leader then will evaluate the completeness of documents such as the inventory of evidence, photography log, evidence recovery log, and persons present during the crime scene processing. Included to be filled up in the document are witnesses present during the crime scene processing. A final photograph is taken to show final condition of the crime scene as released. Valuables found are now being turned over to the investigator on case. Finally, the team leader releases the crime scene to the investigator on case after crime scene processing. Thank you and good day.
Bandaging techniques, first aid and basic life support, the proper carries and transport of victims. So, we prepared a scenario for this, and we are using the PNP EMS, our innovation from the health service. So matitest po ninyo dito sa innovation namin sa health service yung response time at response ng PNP Emergency Medical System. So to talk about this PNP EMS and to give you the scenario, may I request Dr. Dude Santos to talk about this.
Thank you, Mama. Good morning to everyone. Sirs, good morning. Actually, we were given little time to prepare for this demo. But what I have said, there is no preparation to any emergency. There is no amount of training that would prepare you to an emergency talaga. So always, sa medical field, it is always the first aider or the responder's ability to respond to that kind of crisis. So ngayon sir, we will do a real scenario wherein yung day-to-day na ginagawa ng EMS natin, we will put it into test. We will check kung anong oras sila darating dito once the call is reported. I have been trying to lobby this, yung emergency medical service, because sa PNP personnel, marami pong namamatay because kulang ang response time. I was told to talk about gunshot wounds. I was instructed to talk about gunshot wounds. Simple lang po eh. Gunshot wounds or blast injuries from improvised bombs or bombs. Most of the patients die. 90% of these casualties or these patients die in the area mismo. So only 10% ang nadadala sa mga hospital and only a few of them will survive. So with this innovation sa amin ngayon, sir, I have trained a few NUPs and other PNCOs in a month's time. And we'll try to observe, sir, kung proper ang training na ginawa na, or probably they'll do more training. So, I'll give a call now to the ER to test kung ilang minuto sila, sir, darating dito. Black Manta. Black Manta, sir. Black Manta, sir. 69, Black Manta, sir. 10 for advice, phone call, receive, gunshot reported, grandstand, request EMS. Copy. Advising, reported 2 casualties. Black Manta, copy. So later on, sirs and moms, we will try to demonstrate the proper bandaging technique. So as of now, it's already 11:20. Call has been transferred to EMS. We'll wait for the ambulance to arrive. Observe kung ano po yung gagawin na, and then we will explain later what did they do. Bali, EMS ambulance approaching, ma'am. Sir. They are unaware kung ano yung makikita nila dito. So at this time, it's already 11:19 on my watch. 4 minutes and 45 seconds yung nakaraan. Team leader of EMS assesses the situation. Nag-triage na siya. Directing EMS personnel to prioritize.
Actually, you don't have to be a doctor, a nurse, or a member of medical allied professionals para maging first aider and first responders po. So, sila po yung mga NUP namin, mga statistician, sila po yung mga encoder namin, hindi po sila mga nurses or allied professionals. Sinrain lang po namin sila para in case na kulang po kami sa manpower, pwede po silang mag-act as first aider. Victim number 1 po, yung multiple gunshot wound. sa body, abdomen, and no vital signs po. Ibig sabihin po niyan, unconscious po yung first patient po, first victim. And victim number 2 po, the one, may fracture po siya sa left femur. Yung pong buto po sa may hita. Medyo mabilis lang po ng konti yan kasi ano lang po yan, scenario. But then we will try to demonstrate to you the proper step-by-step and systematic process of bandaging and dressing.
Sir, mapapansin nyo rin, no? They are the ones going in and out of the NHQ. Sila rin po yung pinatawagan nyo to respond. Victim 1, yung team dito sa Victim 1 is performing CPR already after the first assessment.
Ito pong victim number 1, unconscious po. They are doing the cardiopulmonary resuscitation with 2 rescuers po. Kasi pwede po kayong maging rescuer ng dalawa po kayong sabay na nagbibigay ng CPR. Pwede din po kayo kung mag-isa lang. Kasi hindi po natin po pwedeng laging piliin na lahat ng mga bystanders ay nakakaalam tungkol sa proper conduct of CPR. So, dito po sa side na to, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and from that side, they are doing the splinting, the dressing of the wound and the splinting. Mamaya po ng konti, hihipay-hipay din natin yan. Kasi po sa first aid, time element really matters po. Kasi nag-i-start po talaga yung mga brain damage po, yung ano. And also, let me take this opportunity to introduce to you our patient or victim, si Miss Susie Ann po. Si Miss Susie Ann po yung aming mannequin. Yun po yung pangalan niya. Si Susie Ann, as in resuscitate. Okay, victim number 2, ready for transfer. So sa first aid din po, kailangan po alam natin po yung meaning ng mga transfer, rescue. Pag sinabi po mag-rescue, ang rescue po ay from transferring the patient from unsafe place to a safer place. Yun po yung tinatawag na rescue. And the transfer, yung pong transfer naman na word, ginagamit po of transferring from a safe place to a more safer place. And also, be careful din po sa paggamit nyo ng word na emergency, incident, accident, and disaster. So, iba-iba po ang level nun. So, victim number 2, ready for transfer.
As you would note, medyo matagal, time-consuming yung pag-load ng patient. It is a statistic now, sir. We have a patient in our hospital, a PNPA, who had an accident. Tinulungan siya ng mga rescuer. And during sa pagbubuhat, tumunog yung likod niya. Now he is paralyzed down, from the waist down, he is paralyzed. Because of the simple lifting ng pag-movement. Kaya nga sinasabi niya ngayon, buti sana hindi na lang ako tinulungan. Kasi at that, yun ang cause ng kanyang permanently paralyzed from waist down. So ang bilin ko sa yung mga EMS natin, take time as long as it is not life-threatening. Stabilize nyo maigi muna bago nyo i-transfer. There are napakaraming development with medical care ngayon. So patient number 2 is
So while transporting the victims, meron pong team leader po dyan. Yung po, usually yung nasa right most, yung nasa right po, siya po yung magiging team leader. Kasi po sa dapat po synchronize yung mga paa nila, yung mga tuhod nila, para hindi po tayo, pag sa transport po or tatakbo, hindi po tayo mahalo-halogit yung mga paa or masakit. So, yun po. Yan po yung 4-man carry or 4-man assist po, kung 4 po. Pwede po yan gawin pag po malaki-laki yung street or daan ng area. In case naman po na iskinita, yung sa iskinita po, 3 lang pong assist, 3-man assist na tinatawag natin. So yung po yung isa-isahin natin, yung proper bandaging, so yung po tinatawag natin yung square knot. Kung ano po yung principle kung bakit ginagamit yung square knot, what's the rationale behind that, yun po yung hihimay-himayin natin. So guys, are you ready for bandaging from head to toe?
bleeding wound on the head. Sa head. Tayo ka muna dyan. Regular bandage. Yan po yung talagang tinuturo nila. But for us, sa PNP, hindi po tayo lahat may triangular bandage at all time. That is why, sabi ko nga sa inyo earlier, that it is up to the rescuer's ability to provide whatever things that he can use as a bandage. You can opt to use your shirt, you can opt to use your hanky, you can opt to use blankets or linens or whatever you can use. So first patient sustaining wound on the head. So ito po, kung meron tayong makukuha ang triangular bandage or a hanky na ganyang kalaki na pwedeng gamitin. So first thing to do if you have a bleeding wound is to pack. Lalagyan po ng absorbent material. And then, i-apply po yung triangular bandage, keep pressure at the same time, hold the pack of the affected area.
Kulang na lang. Kulang sa ilong.
Second victim, sustaining a wound, bleeding wound in the forehead. Ganun din po, apply packing on the forehead or any absorbent material, and apply the bandage using the spare knot.
Ganda. Bagay. Hindi na iniibal sa mo. Hindi na tali nila sa hindi mo kang. Bagay. Bulak na kasi sa kanyang purpose yung kaya yung bulak sa
Yung third patient sustaining injury to the right eye.
Para hindi mabuka yung bibig. Hindi lumabas yung
Good morning po. I'm Police Senior Inspector Pangaliban. I'm a police nurse. As you can see, pinuturuan is covering the other eyes of the victim. The reason is, para hindi na po gumalaw, kasi ang mata po natin tendency, pag gumalaw isa, susunod isa. So, stabilize immobilize yung isang mata, hindi na ma-effect yung mata niya, tumigil. So, pag sa first aid po, both eye. Sabi po ni Dr. Santos, dito wala po na tayo ng mga triangular bandage. We can utilize mga panyo po. Basta malinis yan, provided na yung mga panyo, we can utilize this as a first aid. We can also use our belt, sintas ng sapatos, anything na in our uniform can be utilized as a first aid tools. So, as you can see po, yung mga first responder natin, lakit sa inyo yung mga first aid, basic first aid na ginagawa natin usually sa mga victim. May mga instances po tayo, senior officers po, na meron natutusok sa mata. The one you see here, yung mga nababaksak po sa ulo, yan po ang applicable ng first aid. Paano lang po kung may natusok ng pako sa mata o something na object na tumusok sa mata natin? Assuming na natusok po sa mata ang isa sa ating first aider, ano pong gagawin natin? So, with the use of a simple plastic cup, magagawa po natin ang first aid. This handkerchief can be used as a first aid tool. How? First, we can make this as a donut. So, unang panyo pa lang yun is an instrumental for first aid. Assuming na natusok yung kanyang mata na isang object, we can use a plastic cup, butasan natin, slowly pasok natin, so yun na po ang first aid na. Immobilize. Para natin hawak-hawak naman lagi po, we can use the donut na ginawa ko po to insert. Then kung wala po tayong triangular bandage na dala, dalawang panyo, pumalit ang panyo nyo, you can utilize two handkerchief at the most. wala sa gitna. Matakbo yan kasi baka maisipan ng mga doktor. So, the first thing that we can do is to immobilize. Ang mukha po na sinabi namin dati, kung wala talaga na yung triangle bandage, at kailangan immobilize yung isang mata, as you do this, tatakman nyo rin po sa mata niya.
Are there any questions at this point? Yes, thank you. Ito po, napapansin ko lang. What we are really after for is when we are in the AGI, it is not actually us who will be doing the thing. It will only be us who will be